Hello, my friends. I wanted to do a Soul Tribe check-in. We're going to read from that book a little bit. I don't know how long this is going to be, but I was, again, feeling under the weather these past few days. And tomorrow I have like a muggle commitment. So I'm not going to be able to do a reading tomorrow. So I really wanted to come and do one today. The chapter that we're on today is when you're ready to take your power back, begin here. So you could be thinking about taking your power back in some way, maybe taking power back in your own life, taking control of a situation, taking control of your health, taking control of your finances, your career, whatever it is. So I didn't have a plan for this, but I'm grabbing this one. The law of positivism, or however you say that, the law of positivity. So let's see what you need to hear today. So the chapter is when you're ready to take your power back. This is how you do it. And this one says, I liberate myself from emotions that don't serve me. Interesting. So right away, I'm feeling called to get that. Number 25. But we'll see what else wants to come out. I hope you guys are doing well. Let's see what Soul Tribe needs to hear today. In dreams, I find my answers. So maybe there's something you need to sleep on. Maybe there's an answer that your guides are giving to you in your dreams. You could try dream journaling. I saw a thing that if you can, you should try before you open up your phone, before you even move your head very much. Sleep with like a pen and paper by your bed so that as soon as you wake up, you can jot down what your dreams are about. The more you like move around, the more you pick up your phone, the more those messages can fade. That's weird. I'm hearing a song. I don't know what song it is. I just keep hearing fade away. I don't know what that's from. Anyway. So I let go of limiting thoughts that are holding me back. Very interesting. And we were just talking about taking the power back. So maybe taking the power back over limiting beliefs that you have. I like that. 25. We're going to read 25 first. I liberate myself from emotions that don't serve me. This one that came up. I was feeling very called to it. When we attach to negative emotions without consciously recognizing them, they feel like they are part of us and start to define us. Emotions are here to be observed and experienced, but not held on to. Or they start creating imbalances in the body. In traditional Chinese medicine, 5 elements are connected to organs and meridians, which relate to emotions. Wood connects with anger, fire with joy, earth with worry. It's no wonder I'm a worrywart. I'm an earth sign. Metal with grief, and water with fear. No feelings are good in excess, and there needs to be a balance within the body to avoid disease or disharmony. What emotions or emotion are you holding on to right now? Have you been suppressing a feeling that sometimes bursts to the surface as an explosion? Now is the time to find the root of it and understand why it is there. It is due to an event in the past. Is it due to an event in the past or maybe a physical imbalance in the body? Our emotional body is part of a system of the physical, energetic, mental, and spiritual bodies, and all of them affect each other. The first step to healing is to realize what needs healing and where it started, and journaling can help release old emotions. My cat is currently rubbing up against my knee. Hello, Wally. He's just said hello. He's purring very loudly. Start journaling what emotion or emotions are prevalent in your life right now. Start discovering their roots by creating a timeline that might return to childhood. The further you go, the more could come up that has contributed to this. Write in your journal, I release and heal. Then write down the events, people, and situations that have caused this. You can repeat this verbally as an affirmation. I also want to tell you that you can do this on full moons. I actually do this on most full moons. I do release work where, so you can write down and say, I release and heal these things, or I release these things to the universe, or I released past versions of myself, or whatever it is. I release the anxiety I feel about that situation that I cannot control. So water is fear, wood is anger, fire is joy, earth is worry, metal is grief. However that resonates. Again, my mom used to tell me, Kelly, you worry so much. Earth sign. So, let go of limiting thoughts that are holding you back. When we dive deeply into our thoughts, conscious and subconscious, we discover which empower us and which hold us back. We can sense disempowerment or empowerment by consciously observing and being with the thought and seeing how these illusions cause us to suffer. Do you feel like you're being held back by thoughts infused with self-limiting concepts and fear-based programming? I think a lot of people are, and they don't realize they are. You know, it's how I always say, what's stopping you? You're stopping you. What's stopping me? Only I'm stopping me. I think for a long time, those limiting beliefs and those fears were stopping me, but I didn't know that's what they were. And I can remember, you know, when I was away with my friend a few months ago, and I was explaining to her what limiting beliefs are. Like anytime she thought about starting a business or bettering her life, she would insert, you know, oh, but I can't do that because I don't have this. Oh, but I can't do that because of this. Oh, and then there's that. Self-limiting beliefs. And they truly keep us caged. They keep us caged. Maybe you have heard once or more than once that you can't, shouldn't, or won't do something that your purest heart wanted and truly believed that you would and could. This card is telling you to reclaim your power. Oh my gosh, remember the chapter is about reclaiming your power. Anyway, I just think that's magical. Where was I? Don't let your chattering mind, your chicken head, filled with doubts and a false sense of separation, hold you back, and instead step into your fullest power. Now is the time to release and transform these thoughts to empower and energize your true essence. Like seriously, when you're ready to take your power back, begin here. And we pull this card about taking your power back. Repeat this ritual whenever you feel like the thoughts are coming up and becoming patterns. Seated in a comfortable position, take a few deep breaths to connect within. Ask yourself which thoughts are bothering you and whether you're ready to release them. Write down your thoughts so they can differ in their nature, size, and frequency. When those thoughts that want to come out at this moment have appeared on the piece of the paper, take a few deep breaths. With every exhalation, or however you say that word, see them leaving you. Take the paper and burn it somewhere safely. Hold the intention to let the fire transform the thoughts. Then take a long breath out or deep breath in and feel the lightness. And very interesting because fire in that other card was connected to joy. And by burning away your fear, by burning and releasing your fear, your limiting beliefs, you can let joy back in. Some beautiful soul was talking about how, Inside Out too, about how they long for joy to be a more active role in driving the ship up there. And it's possible. That's what comes when you reconnect with your inner child. When you focus on the things that bring you joy, fire, light up your soul. Anyway. So symbols here, we have snake symbolizing rebirth, eagle, freedom, Kurdish, I'm probably saying that wrong, mountains and temples, our spiritual path, inner temple, and our connection with our ancestral lands. So I love that we had a card about if you want to take your power back, here's how, and that's exactly what we're about to read in that book. I love that. That one was dramatic. What do we have here? I listen to the voice of my body. It lets me know exactly what I need. Something we've been talking about here. Your body, I'm just going to go to another part. Your body is your soul's loyal friend and helps you experience life in this embodiment. It is the physical manifestation of your soul and of life. And to be in partnership with your body, you need to listen to it with unconditional patience and love. Are you in tune with your body's messages and signals? Are you hearing what it tells you, or are you numbing the body and discarding what it is trying to say? And a considerable part of our soul's journey is to experience physical embodiment. I'm like spitting, sorry. Physical embodiment, and to constantly remember why we chose this body. Your body holds the stories of your ancestors and of the earth. It is an intricate and complex system that is truly divine and miraculous. Now is the time to understand your body's sacredness and to be in communion with it. The body speaks to us in subtle ways until things have gone too far and we haven't been listening. Then the body speaks to us loud and clear through imbalances that ask us to stop and contemplate what needs to be changed. Now is the time to listen and to merge with this physical experience. And I used to blame it on the fact that I was autistic and I didn't know what my body was trying to tell me. I didn't know when I was thirsty. I didn't know when I was hungry. And sure, that all comes into play when you're neurodivergent. But I would outright ignore my body until the point where I would have an injury or I would have a cold that just knocked me on my ass because I wasn't listening to my body. And that's what I was telling you guys the other day. When my nose started to run, it was like a good indication, like I need to rest. I can't be pushing myself right now because I didn't want to end up completely on my ass, you know? But for my whole life, I've pushed myself. And the only thing that has slowed me down is when I get injured or when I'm sick. And it was kind of a joke in my family for a while when really it's not that funny, like that I was pushing myself into sickness. And that's the only time I would stop and rest. And even then I felt guilt for it. So learning how to listen to your body before you get to that point of, like for me, if my knee gives out, I should have paid attention to my body long ago that my knee wasn't feeling great, Does that make sense? I can remember when my kids were young, I felt like neck strain a lot. And I just kept pushing myself, like, well, I can still move. I can still push myself. And I pushed myself right into, I was like paralyzed for a week, not literally paralyzed, but I could not move for a week. I had to be put on really strong muscle relaxers. At the time, I had 2 babies, so I had to stop like nursing them because I was on these muscle relaxers. Again, my body tried to tell me to slow down and I didn't listen. I just kept pushing myself. Anyway, I talk about random things, soul tribe reading for a reason. So maybe you resonate with that. So, grounding practice to listen deeper to your body. Take time to be still, whether in nature, your home, the bath, or wherever you feel most comfortable. Another thing that was kind of coming up when I was reading this was that how often do we feel something and we're just like, well, I'm just going to pop a pill. I'm just going to take a painkiller. I'm just going to take an Advil. I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to do that. Instead of like listening to your body's trying to tell you something when it's hurting. Anyway, for some reason I wanted to mention that. Sorry. Take time to be still, whether in nature, I'm just going to reread it, your home, the bath, or wherever you feel most comfortable. Still your mind and attune to your body by sensing each part. Start at the top of your head and work all the way down to your feet. If your body is giving you any physical signs and symptoms, ask what it needs to come back into balance. Again, and instead of listening to my body, I would just reach for a pill bottle. Take it as it resonates. And I was thinking about that again today, about how I'm very much grateful for coming off medication. I can feel things that I haven't felt since I was a teenager put on those meds. I feel like my body was trying to talk to me all that time, but I couldn't hear it because I was, very medicated. Anyway, let's get one more. We have life is a dream within a dream. I just started hearing a dream is a wish your heart makes out of nowhere. My cat is just purring his little heart out underneath my chair. So this is the second last one from the second last card in the deck. What is the difference between the awake and the dream states? When you're dreaming, do you have any recollection of this reality? Is either of these realms more real than the other? We exist in different realities, timelines, and dimensions simultaneously. Blah. And our so-called dream state is just another form of existence. Our dreams and sleep state allow us to enter a space and a time beyond the limitations of this physical experience. This transcendence is so crucial that both animals and humans do this naturally, as part of our soul's path here. Not only is the dream state another form of existence, but it also merges with the beingness of this current reality. Therefore, in our dreams, we can connect with our higher self, other beings, other people's highest selves, and other worlds. These dreams can entail everything that exists in this reality and also goes beyond the framework of the earthly world. There are no limitations, and it is an expansive place to be. Through our dreams, we can find healing, guidance, and support. To connect deeper to your dreams, you need to make sure you prioritize your sleep and get enough hours of sleep to enter in and out of dreams and deep sleep. Be intentional and state to yourself and the universe that you are ready to do dream work. Set the intention before you fall asleep to receive guidance of any kind through your dreams. Journal every morning on your dreams and include as many details as possible. Again, I mentioned it in the very beginning. I feel like there's some sort of information that the universe wants to give to you through a dream. And the less you move your head, the less you move your body, the less you pick up your phone, turn on lights, the more you're going to remember. So try and jot it down like right away. Start weaving the dreams together and see if there are any patterns after a few weeks and or a few months. So it could take months to get this message through for some of you. But anyway, that's what we have for oracle cards. So let's read this book. And then I might get you one animal apothecary because that's the best deck. So when you're ready to take your power back, begin here. And it's on page 99, which is about, well, 9s are about inner work, self-growth, inner healing. I believe 9-9 can also be about releasing. So releasing fear, releasing limiting beliefs about yourself. Anyway, let's get into it. So when you're ready to take your power back, begin here. No matter how much inner work you've done, no matter how resilient you've become, no matter how future-proofed you once believed your plans to be, life sometimes hands you the occasional reminder that you are not entirely a god unto yourself. You coexist with billions of other creators. Our worlds merge and collide, and sometimes they collapse. When you lose your inner power, it's not really gone. It's just buried under the belief that there is something beyond you that has the capacity to limit what your life will become. It's been hollowed out from thinking that whatever disrupted you will block your path forever. When you lose your power, it's because something came along and removed your sense of certainty. Some event made you realize that you can't always predict what's next. It forced you to reconcile the fact that you are still just human. You began to suspect that there are elements within our lives that we cannot always anticipate nor make sense of once they've arrived. If you've lost your power, it's because you're resisting this truth. In place of acceptance, you've put hypervigilance. You've spent your days mulling over the details, tracing and dissecting the events and how they started and ended, back to front and front to back again and again. You've observed and found patterns. You've psychoanalyzed. You've become wholly consumed by the offhand chance that this disruption might arise again, and in that consumption, you've lost your will to press forward. What you don't realize is that your obsession is acting as a shield and not a strong one. You are assuming that you can only be safe if you allow the intrusive thoughts to make a home in your head. If you let them circulate until they embed themselves into your subconscious, encode your identity, play out through your daily actions, then maybe, just maybe, you can do what you didn't before, which is avoid them entirely. Of course, what you aren't seeing is that by giving your power over to something that is beyond you, you are making it even stronger. What holds our mental power is where we place our thoughts, and then our beliefs, and then our trust, and then our faith. We cannot always trust the world. Therefore, we must find the resolve to trust ourselves. To trust yourself is not to believe that you will never again be hurt. To trust yourself is not to think that you're safer for playing small. To trust yourself means that you will dare to step forward despite all odds, no matter what's up against you, no matter what forces may be at work. To trust yourself means that you are no longer content to lodge your soul in the circumstances that have long stopped serving you. To trust yourself means that you will no longer accept fear reprogramming you, reorienting your values, and changing your perspectives to one that is simply holding you back. Healing is the ultimate vulnerability. It does not mean we arrive on the other side magically declaring that we're the victor, but that we show up humbly with our hearts wounded but open. Healing is to accept hurting as part of being human. Healing is to carry on anyway. When you are ready to take your power back, it probably won't come from an inspired place of sound resolve. It will come from sheer desperation, a final battle cry. It will arise from your last-ditch your last-ditch effort. Do you see how my brain works? It just makes it into one word. I swear, where I came from, we spoke straight-up gibberish. You know that game, have you guys ever played the game Mad Gab? Where you say like 5 or 6 words, it's like one... Is that what I'm thinking of? It's like an expression, but they give it as one word. I used to be so good at saying the gibberish on that people would think I was guessing the right answer. So I'd be like, blah, 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 and they'd be like, yeah, that's right. You guessed it. I'm like, okay. Anyway. I'm just going to reread that part. It will come from sheer desperation, a final battle cry. It will arise from your last-ditch effort to save your own life. You will know it's time to take your power back when there's no other viable choice, because in the aftermath of loss, you discovered that you unraveled your own existence so that nothing could be taken away from you again. You can't lose your power. It's not something separate from you. It's never lost, just buried beneath the desire to keep your true self safe. And it's funny because this makes me think of like tarot, the Queen of Swords, and how I talk about how that's what this feels like. Like sometimes you just hit that place where you just take your power back. Queen of Swords energy. Anyway. And that part of you, the one that really wants to protect you, maybe that's your power speaking in a different way. Maybe that's not a sign that you've abandoned yourself, but that you love yourself enough to safeguard whatever small parts of your heart remain untouched. Maybe the path forward is to find gratitude for the fact that we wanted to shield ourselves in the first place. Maybe recognizing your power is seeing it take on an entirely new form, one that we honor for its presence and then release in place of something more helpful. The path forward is understanding that we are sometimes collateral damage to people's own inner wars. Truth. And that we do not need to adopt their weapons as our own in order to fight back. The path forward is realizing that our sanctuary is within ourselves and our power is impenetrable. It is there, resting and waiting until we are ready to act on it again. When that day comes, the day we are ready to begin again, we almost always find that doing so is less a feat of willpower and more of the willingness to let our souls back into our days again. It often begins with allowing yourself to enjoy something small because you deserve it. It grows when you allow yourself to care for yourself because you deserve that too. It swells when you allow yourself to acknowledge how far you've come. And for every piece of yourself you can't stand, there are 1,000 others that are so much more beautiful, so much more worthy, so much more admired and cared for. You deserve that too. Your power is not being able to exert your will on everybody around you. It's also not watering down your life until you're the most acceptable possible version of yourself. It's having the courage to hurt and then heal. It's being willing to try again. It's not that nothing bad can ever happen, but that we won't reject all the goodness that still exists, even if it does. And the next chapter is 13 things you need to stop doing if you truly want to move your life forward. So we'll read that one next time. Ooh, that's a long one. That's a long one. And the chapter after that is within the emotions you are afraid to feel exists the wisdom your soul is waiting to receive. I love that too. So let's get you one of these animal apothecary cards since I grabbed them. I just love this deck so much. One message for my soul tribe. One message for my soul tribe. One message for my soul tribe. I'm going to get another one. That one already came out recently. Why? So we have Service, which came out recently. I read it. As I was shuffling, I was like thinking of two very specific cards, and one of them came out. So just let me touch base on this card. The Seeing Eye Dog, the Service, this card. When receiving the medicine of the Seeing Eye Dog, you understand that service will always lead to some form of success. This is not the superficial understanding. Hello, Michelle, who always messages me during Soul Tribe readings. Every day you do it. This is not the superficial understanding of material success, which is based on popularity, looks, status, or the amount of money in your bank account. Long-lasting and eternal success creates an energy that can never be destroyed. This is the energy that is created when we are of service to others, everlasting spiritual wealth. Service is a conductor of blessings both in this life and hereafter. It acts as a magnet for profound personal blessings and eternal success. When we are truly selfless, we begin to align with the nature of our existence. We recognize that we are all connected, and essentially, the entirety of multiple universes and ourselves are all one. This harmony with reality attracts hidden gifts produced by our alignment. This shares that a blessing, cut me off, but it says that a blessing is approaching you through your selfless acts. Dedicate yourself to some form of service. Your acts of service will be felt and noticed. Success will follow. But anyway, when that came out, I was immediately like, that does not feel like the right card. And what we do have is Nourish Your Shadow, which as I was shuffling, I was like, if 33 or 44 comes out, I'm going to cry. And 33 came out. I'm not going to cry because I've read this card so many times. I think maybe I'll cry. I don't know. I am going to read it again to you though. This is like, in this deck, this is one, in my opinion, one of the most important cards in this deck. I've shown this specific card to people who are not into tarot, who are not into oracle decks, because I think it's so important. I think it's so important. I think that so many of us were afraid to look at our shadows, or were taught that taking accountability means that you're admitting you're a bad person. In my family, you know, all of our shadows were like swept under the rug. And guess what? That dirt mound never went away. I just kept tripping over it, if that makes sense. Again, I think this is one of the most important cards in this deck, and I read it to anybody who will listen to me. You know, I'll be talking to someone who's talking about how they don't like their shadows, or they don't understand the point of looking at their shadows, and I'll be like, let me read you this card. I remember reading this card to my best friend, to my sister. I remember people making fun of how I say jaguar. Jaguar, jaguar, jaguar. Is that how you say it? Does not feel right to me. It's jaguar. Jaguar represents the shadow, the subconscious aspects of ourselves we push away. Carl Jung, I think it's Jung, says these aspects usually stem from situations we encountered as children that led us to feel shame, unworthiness, and abandonment. We then live out these programmed beliefs as adults. Jaguar comes to speak to us about nourishing our shadow. In this image, we see her drinking from the well of wholeness. The well in this image, inspired by analyst Marion Woodman, excuse me, is our place of nourishment and absolute wholeness. Water is where all life comes from. Without it, we have no vitality. Many of us ignore and starve our shadow aspects because they cause us so much pain. We push them away and deeply criticize them. We chain our jaguar shadow and confine her to the furthest part of the backyard of our minds. She howls and cries for nourishment, yet still we ignore her. In her banishment, because of lack of self-love, her power grows as the master of self-sabotage. Ironically, if you would begin a relationship with her, you'd find that she is your greatest asset and leads to fulfilling your life's purpose. Funny, we instinctively banish her. Hang on. So just side note, I just started coughing, which can talk about unexpressed emotions. So you could have some unexpressed emotions around some of your shadows, around something that happened in the past. Maybe there was something that was swept under the rug at some point that you never got to deal with, or with someone else. Like maybe you want to talk about some of these shadows with a parental figure or a past person, unexpressed emotions. Anyway. Jaguar's medicine asks you to create a self-talk relationship with yourself and ride the wave of hurt within. Every time a painful feeling arises, you can now tell yourself, I'm right here to feel this with you. I accept this uncomfortable feeling and will ride it out with you. I am here to feel this with you. If you do this, the emotion will always detox out and dissipate, leading to a much quicker healing. But you must be strong and endure the pain. Commit to riding the waves of emotion together within yourself. This is the nourishment your jaguar shadow requests. If you witness her, she will start showing you a new and indestructible power within. Your shadow is where your diamond lives. And that's the truth. It's why I believe in this journey so much of healing and doing shadow work. And, I wouldn't be where I am right now if I hadn't started nourishing that jaguar within. Anyway, so I'm going to leave it here, my friends. I'm sending you lots of love and light, and I will talk to you soon. Like I said, I don't think I'm going to be here tomorrow. One of my kids is having a medical procedure done, and I feel like all of my attention is going to be on that kid tomorrow. I don't know why I'm telling you this soul tribe reading, but whenever one of my kids has to have like a medical procedure and they put them under and you see them in that very vulnerable state, that is so hard for me. I don't know why. It's just like emotionally, I have a really hard time with it. So that's kind of why I wanted to do a reading today, because I feel like tomorrow is going to be stressful and I'm just going to be like so laser focused, like mama bear laser focused on my daughter tomorrow. She's fine. Everything's fine. But yeah, I'm sending you guys lots of love and light, and I will talk to you soon. And again, you're all amazing people and I love you. And I hope you're realizing that about yourself. I hope you're not being too hard on yourselves. I think it's really easy to be hard on ourselves, and it's harder to be easier on ourselves and more gentle and forgiving. So I hope that today you can be gentle and forgiving with yourself. But sending you lots of love and light. My battery's dying. Here's my cue to go. And I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.